I don't know, why the permits were, put into place. It wasn't part of the original, law in 1978. They were added sometime later. Permits were added, and then signage was added. But I'm looking to Linda, so she can correct me if I'm wrong on any of that. But what I can say is that, for the very thing that you just mentioned, right? If a neighbor gets annoyed, then they could come to the city, and they could say something, and then the city could do something. That's not actually accurate. The city has to have a ordinance
Yeah,
that is
but
being violated.
Yeah, I know.
Which means that the only way that you can do that is to issue a permit so that you're either in compliance to the ordinance, or you're not. Then if you go outside of compliance, right, you don't have the permit or whatever, because they're free permits, and somebody complains about it, then the city has the ordinance to stand on that they can enforce. So you asked the reason, I'm just giving you the,
If,
okay.
I mean, I haven't had any yard sales, I probably will coming down the pike. I wouldn't even go get a permit. And so they would know that I had had.
Could you give us your address? Should we just write you a citation now? Do you want to start with $25, or do you want to move right to 50?
I just think that we can organize ourselves here and take care of a whole lot of this without having a lot of laws and you know, things. There have to be laws when we're not taking care of it. I know that,
Okay,
but
so you're the final person, okay? So I'm just gonna speak back to you here for just a second, okay? I want to assure you that there is no desire on the part of the Board of Aldermen to take away people's right. I'm not sure you call it a right, because it's not actually a right. But, yeah, not really. Not inside the city limits. To limit people from being able to do all the things we're talking about tonight. Not be able to buy the things that you want to buy, or to be able to have a sale, other than there has to be some, you know, limitations. I think right now it's 2 sales a 12-month period, right? And it does have a free permit on there. We do have to be able to manage the signs. Those are the things. The desire of the board, when this was brought up, was actually not to do that. It was actually to enhance what we already have. Now, the proposal that you see that was put forth is just a proposal that was put forth in order to start this conversation, right? The proposal, the way that it's presented, replaces the existing policy. This meeting that we're having right now is absolutely not required by any law. The Board of Aldermen could have had this discussion themselves, and they could have changed the law to read any way that they want to, as long as it's in accordance
you
with
might all
state
get
law.
fired.
Let me fire me today. In fact, April 5th is the election, and if you can get enough people to write a name in there, you're in business. But here's the thing, they didn't do that, right? Instead they said, before we even address this, what we want to do is invite the community to come in so that we can capture what their desire is.
And we appreciate that.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, yes.
So it's not the situation of the board's doing something to control, and we have to, you know, to say that, I mean, that'd be like crashing a party that you have an invitation in your back pocket for. I mean, you're here because you're invited. No, you came up, you're required to stand. Go ahead. And so it's appreciated that, and I'll tell you another thing I appreciate, and I know the board does too, is that it's been civil, right? I think everybody's had an opportunity to speak and present what their thoughts are, and it's very much appreciated. And I'm sure you're gonna see the same type of conversation take place with the board here in just a little bit whenever they're discussing the ordinance also. When that discussion takes place, if you have something you want to offer that might be constructive to the process, understand that you may or may not be recognized, but you're certainly welcome to raise your hand and do that, okay? Is there anybody else that feels like they have something that has not already been covered?
I forgot to say something whenever I was up there.
Sure.
She had reminded me whenever she was talking, and I'm glad that you explained the ordinance, because it makes sense. I didn't know why you had to have permits before. But, if there's 2 free a year, but other people are wanting to have more, then maybe they could, pay $2 or $3 to have additional ones.
I see, yeah, okay,
And also, I did wanna throw in there that my children also, they don't, they do hard chores at home, they make their own money, they love going to yard sales, and, all ages. And they love buying their own pair of boots, or an action figure that is $20 at the store, but is $2 or $3 at a yard sale.
sure.
So, yes, it's teaching them how to keep money in our community, and, I just wanted to throw that in there.
Got it. Thank you very much. With that, I am going to declare this public meeting to be closed.